What up guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're lowering our truck. We're finally going to be lowering our blue truck. I finally decided that I am going to be lowering it because I did get helper bags for the back. As you can see, I'm always loading it up with cement and stuff. Like right now I have a bunch of cement back here. There's like 6 bags in there. So I'm always using this as my work truck and everything. So I want to make sure that I do lower it, but I do put some helper bags in the back to help it whenever I do have it loaded. So in this video I am going to start with the front here. We're going to be lowering the front 3 inches only because we do have 26-inch rims, and on my other truck there, that's the lowest I could do. 3 inches before having to tub it or something. Even at 3 inches you're still going to get some rubbing up here. So anybody doing a drop with 26s, the lowest I'd recommend is 3 inches. You could probably get away with 4, but the ride quality is going to suck. This is going to be the very first drop I ever do. On that one, if you guys remember, that one was already dropped. All I did was change out the strut to lift it a little bit from the front. So that one, I don't really count that as my first suspension. This is going to be my first suspension upgrade here. So we are going to be starting with the front. I'm still waiting for the flip kit back here. Alright, so with the IHC kit for a 3-inch, all you get is a lower control arm. If you want to go to a 4, 5, or even 6-inch drop, you also get the upper control arm. Since this is just a small drop, all we're going to be using is this lower control arm here. There we go. So hopefully everything goes good and we get everything installed perfectly. In my opinion, IHC sells the best drop kits. I've looked at reviews online, on YouTube, everywhere, and IHC has the best kit where you get to be able to keep your alignment nice and straight. So I totally recommend IHC for any of your drops. For the other truck, I do have the McGaughey's one, McGaughey's, I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm going to compare the ride quality of that one to this one when I'm completely done. This one rides alright. It does not ride stock. It's a little rough. So I'm going to compare both of them. This one, even though it has a 26s, this rides perfect right now. So I'm scared to see how it's going to ride now that we're going to drop it. I'm expecting ride quality to diminish a little bit, but hopefully it's not too much. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to start by removing the wheel. This is our stock suspension right here. So first thing we're going to do is remove this caliper along with the bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and use an 18mm to remove the whole thing and put it off to the side, because we do have to remove the whole hub assembly here in order to remove our lower control arm. And we don't have to remove, all we have to do is pop this out to remove this part, but we don't have to remove the whole upper control arm. So let's start off by removing this area here. So those of you guys wondering, it's gonna be 2 18mm. So there's one here, I don't know if you guys can see that. Alright, there's one here, and it's too dark for you guys to see, and then there's another one all the way down here. So I'm gonna remove that. put this off to the side. I removed the caliper. Those bolts were really hard and stuck in there. Next, I'm going to remove this tie rod right here. As we removed our tie rod end, next step is going to be to remove this whole hub area here. So we're going to remove this nut right here for the upper control arm. But before that, we need to disconnect this ABS line here. So there's just a little clip here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of blurry, but there's a little clip here that you just disconnect. That way when we remove this part and this bottom part here, we can just remove this whole assembly out, and then we can move on to our lower control arm. Control arm is out. Guys, this is our stock control arm. Upgraded control arm right here. Let's go ahead and reinstall it in the reverse order. Alright guys, the control arm is on. We already torqued these bolts, torqued these bolts here, torqued the upper control arm, torqued the lower control arm here, and we put our cotter pin in between there. Now we're just going to torque our tie rod end, put our caliper back on, and I'm going to clean this whole area because you can see how dirty it is. I don't know why it sticks to this tie rod, but this tie rod is dirty. Alright, so let's go ahead and torque this down and reinstall the rest that we have. Alright guys, I finished installing the sway bar link, and we went ahead and washed everything out, cleaned everything. Our tie rod was really dirty. We went ahead and scrubbed and cleaned everything in here, so I think she's ready to put the tire back on and put her back down. didn't get to show you on the other side, but we loosened this nut for the upper control arm, and we're gonna loosen this other nut down here. You guys can't see it, but it's down here. There we go. There's this other nut down here for the lower control arm. So all we're gonna do is just loosen it. That way we can smack this and it can pop up. So I'll show you how that looks. Hopefully this one pops up right here. You have to see this pop up here. See, that popped up, so this is ready to come out. I'm gonna loosen the bottom one and do the same thing. It has to pop up. And then we can go ahead and loosen the rest of our bolts for our lower control arm here. But we do have to remove this whole assembly here in order to remove this area. So I'm gonna grab my 24mm and take this bottom nut off so we can loosen this lower control arm. These are not on too tight, honestly. There we go, popped up. Now we can go ahead. I'll remove this top part here first. If it makes it easier for you, you can remove your brake rotor so it's less heavy, but I'm gonna leave it on. There we go. I'm gonna grab a jack just to hold it up. All right, this whole assembly is out. I'm gonna set this to the side. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove this right here. Okay. We took out our link here. We're just gonna loosen the bolts on the bottom of the control arm. And then last is loosen the bolts on the shock here. All right, all we did was loosen those up. We didn't remove them completely because we don't want the whole control arm to fall. We're gonna remove these and then last completely remove those other bolts. So I think this is like a 15mm. Now we can go ahead and remove the rest of the bolts and completely remove our lower control arm here. Now this is our aftermarket one, the IHC one. So we're gonna go ahead and reinstall everything in the reverse order. That's about right height. We're gonna torque it down at right height. All right guys, it's currently the next day. It got kind of dark on me, so I didn't want to record how it looked afterwards in the dark, but there we have it. So our fender liner's right here. So we got about a 3-finger gap now, which is perfect. It gives me, I want to say it's about 2 inches of gap here for any bumps or anything, because I don't want it to be rubbing up here like in my other truck. There we have it. We are gonna have to be doing some trimming back here, and I'll show you guys that in a future video, how to trim this part back here. That's the only part that rubs. There's absolutely no rubbing up here in the front, nothing here. Full turn, no rubbing whatsoever. Up here, I personally think that you can probably run like a 4-inch drop, but you're gonna be hitting this all the time in all the bumps, and it's gonna be a shitty ride. So the most I would go down is 3 inches with 26s. These are, oh, you guys can see that, 295, 30, 26. So lowest I would go is 3 inches here. The only place we do have a lot of rubbing, not even a lot, just a little bit of rubbing here, is this lower part. We're gonna have to trim a little bit of the metal down here and a little bit of the plastic, so stay tuned for that video. I'm not gonna be doing any trimming yet until I get these wheels all aligned, because I can already tell they're a little bit off alignment. I did have to adjust my toe, because when I put the steering wheel forward, this was already like pigeon-toed, so I made sure that I aligned it a little bit, just eyeballed it, so I could take it to the alignment shop and they can do the rest of the work. So I'm not gonna take it to get aligned though until I do the back. Look at this gap that we have in the back right now. It's an enormous gap. Look at that. By the time we're done, I want to be tucking a little bit. A 7-inch should be tucking just a tad bit here in the back, so it's a big gap that we're gonna get rid of. In the back here, I am running 305 30 26s. 305s are going to be too wide. I'm going to be hitting this part here. Yeah, I'm going to have to get down to a 295 in order to be able to tuck through here, and that should be enough. So stay tuned for the next video. Once we get our flip kit in the mail, we're going to be doing all our flip kit here in the back and lowering this all the way down with some helper bags for those of you guys that are wondering.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribing and stay tuned for the next video.
I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably $sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my